What's going on YouTube, man? It's Trade TV. I'm back with another video, man. So check this out. This is it's a very, very important time in the sport of boxing. My favorite fighter of all time, Errol Spence Jr., finally popped out the cut, man. Honestly, I was never a doubter when it came down to Spence coming back. I was never a doubter of a lot of people saying, oh man, he need to retire. He got beat so bad. See, people talk like that. They've never fought before. In the streets, in the ring, never, nowhere. They have never went through adversity. Because this is my thing, I feel as though Errol Spence did take a loss. Obviously, it's a lot more to it than a lot of people know behind the scene. But at the end of the day, he's a warrior. If you look at his track record, fought Sean Porter, hit him so hard that he pretty much broke his discombobulated his whole body. His head went left, his body went right. His toes curled up. 10 round, never been dropped. Sean Porter was never been dropped. After that incident, got into the car accident. You know what I'm saying? Then when he came from car accident, then he fought Danny Garcia. Fought Danny Garcia. Who has one of the hardest left hooks in the sport of boxing at 147. Dethroned him. Then he turned around and fought the guy who beat Manny Pacquiao, who just beat Keith Thurman a few years ago, who just fought Mario Barrios, the guy that was beating Tank all 12 rounds until he got knocked out. Dismantled him, had his eye looking like a football, broke his eye socket, right after another injury. And then, of course, we got Terrence Bud Crawford, who he fought, who was moving up and stuff like that. So if you look at his track record, and Carol Brook, even before the Sean Porter fight, that's what got Errol Spence the star status that he had now. He fought everybody when they were dangerous. That's what a lot of people got to understand. Like, Errol Spence fought guys when they were dangerous. Carol Brook was dangerous. Everybody at welterweight didn't want no smoke. Carol Brook was a big welterweight at that. He fought Sean Porter, cracked Sean Porter, came to the U.S. and he took Sean Porter belt. He was considered the biggest, the strongest, and the boogeyman of 147. You know what I'm saying? It got so bad to where he had to move up and fight Triple G. And at that time, Triple G was one of the most dangerous guys at middleweight. Y'all see what I'm saying? So it's like, Errol Spence fought that version of these killers. Sean Porter, killer. He fought Sean Porter after he fought Danny Garcia. And that fight could have went either way. But at the end of the day, he fought killers after killers after killers after killers. And y'all mean to tell me that y'all want to write Errol Spence off? Man, y'all ain't never been through nothing. See, some of y'all ain't never got hit in y'all mouth. Some of y'all ain't got never hit in y'all face, man. Because one thing I know about fighting is that you live to see another day. If y'all think that Errol Spence was hungry back then and he was a monster then, what do you think he is now? He's tasted defeat. What is there to lose? When you win so many fights and you don't really have a loss and stuff like that, you get the big head. If you're doing something you really ain't supposed to be doing, but you never get caught, you get the big head. You get the slacking. You get the slipping on your pimping. And I feel as though that loss against Terrence Crawford, he was slipping on his pimping at the end of the day. He was comfortable. knocking everybody out, breaking everybody's nose, breaking eye sockets, breaking ribs, breaking jaws. I mean, he was the Terminator. But at the end of the day, this loss, especially the way he lost, I mean, he had the whole world, not the U.S., Spain, Portugal, China, Taiwan, so many people, everybody took out work the next day, the whole week, his loss impacted the president of the United States. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. Y'all got to realize, his loss could be a holiday. It's that important. I've never seen so many people chime in like, man, when Errol Spence lost, I feel like my homie got whooped, bro. Like, when Errol Spence lost, I took off the next day. I had to take off. I couldn't work, Not me, but this is what people were saying. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I got a family to feed. You feel me? So it's like, for me, I understand the business. And y'all dropped the bag on them. But at the end of the day, I took that loss with them, But anyway, I ain't trying to go down that rabbit hole. The point I'm trying to make is, at the end of the day, bro, y'all counted out Spence and look where he's at now. He's looking good. He's looking strong. He's looking healthy. He got his mental back right. He been on 50 vacations. He done got out the way. Now he finna clear out 154. Starting with Virgil Ortiz. Who me personally, I feel like Virgil Ortiz is overrated. They got him as number one, but he's not even a champion. I mean, come on now. The only names that he got on his resume is Madrigal, who got 13 fights. Erison Lubin, who get knocked out by everybody, who is of the upper echelon. And then he fought Boachuk. Boachuk twice at that. I mean, I think one time. He fought Boachuk. Boachuk dropped him, You don't think Errol Spence can drop him? Come on, man. Errol Spence was the face of boxing at one point. The route that Terrence Crawford was on, that was supposed to have been Spence. They was talking about Spence fighting Canelo right before the fight. Right before the Terrence Crawford fight. A lot of people don't even realize that or remember. But at the end of the day, man, it was good to see him out there. Everybody was super excited. I mean, the fight going on, you got the whole crowd coming up to Spence. Literally. You got a main event fight going on and everybody looking at Spence. I mean, that's how much of an impact and star status that he has, and he's the people's champ. You feel me? So, like I said, man, Errol Spence is back. He's back in the mix. He don't do no tune-ups. I feel like when you are an elite fighter, you don't need to do a tune-up. Look at Devin Haney. He's an elite fighter. He's going up to fight Brian Norman, who's a vicious puncher. Cub vicious. Straight up. Brian Norman vicious. He went to China and knocked that boy head out, put him on the stretcher. He had his daddy shake, dance around and, doing a stank leg in the middle of the ring. I mean, that's just what it is. But shout out to Spence. It's good to see my boy back, man. And, he finna shake up the division. You feel me? But other than that, man, let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. It's Trey TV, man, and we out.